guys, Trevor Hunter here with DirtBikeTest.com. We're here riding the Ride Engineering FE350 dual sport bike. Adrian at Ride Engineering just built this thing up, so he enlisted us to test it out and see what we think. So Adrian picked this bike up off Craigslist. He got it fairly cheap for being a dual sport bike, and his idea was he wants to ride after work, ride after on the weekends, ride with his buddies, all that good stuff. So with dual sport, you can ride from home fairly easily. Especially being in Southern California, there's a lot of good trails and mountainous areas within 15-20 minutes from wherever you live, really. It appears to be a really good bike. We're going to go test it out right now and see what we think. Guys, we just finished up riding the Ride Engineering dual sport bike. We're out here in Southern California, and we gotta say we had a blast. We were really impressed with how the bike performed. We were a little skeptical of having the suspension lowered just because it's really foreign to us, and just weren't sure how the performance would be affected. But overall, we were really impressed, and we'd consider doing it to one of our own bikes, really. So coming into this build, I thought the suspension performance would be it wouldn't work because you're losing an inch of travel front and rear, but really it worked out great. On the fire roads, it soaked up all the little chop, all the in-ground rocks, all the stutter bumps, the braking bumps, all that stuff. It was soaked up really well. In the rocks, we had a lot more confidence, felt more comfortable. We could dab our foot easier. We got out of control a couple times, but we saved ourselves, and having the lower suspension really helped out with that. We were the only place we noticed that the suspension was affected, and a lot of it's just due to soft valving. Is when you really get aggressive in it and you jump it off some of the water brakes or jump it off a whoop or something like that, it blows through the stroke, but that's more dual sport valving, not more of a lower suspension feel. So yeah, overall we're really impressed with how the bike worked. I would consider doing it to my bike, being a shorter rider. I wouldn't do it for a moto track or a race bike, but if I was just dual sport riding on a bike, I'd consider doing it. So onto the motor, this bike's like a fire-breathing dragon. We weren't expecting a whole lot just because it's a dual sport model, off-road and focus model, but with the FMF exhaust on here, it really woke the bike up. Had a lot of torque, it pulled forever. It felt like a race bike almost, but we were riding it from home onto the trails. So in the cockpit area, we just have the stock handlebars on. Mine's pretty comfortable for a lower rider. Having the stabilizer on above the bars, it helped out a lot for shorter riders. It doesn't feel like the riding Harley bars way up here. And then Adrian's crossbar pad, we actually hit it a couple times, so we're glad it was on there. The ASV shorty levers, they work great. We dropped the bike a couple times, but they're the shorty models, so they just stay out of the way, tipped over in the rocks, barely even have a scratch on them. The kill button and the starter button, they worked out great. We didn't hit them at all. We had plenty of room for the cockpit. We put a mirror on here, aftermarket handguards. We have plenty of room for all that stuff. So in SoCal, dirt isn't ideal. We get very little rain, especially here in the summertime. But the tires and the mooses, they hooked up great. Slide around the corners, kind of hook up, but you can slide it around as well. And single track in the rocks, they hooked up great. No flats. I'm prone to getting a lot of flat tires, so having the nitros is a must for me. Keeps me rolling, and yeah, won't get stranded out in the trails. On the seat, for a dual sport bike, we probably stay away from having the ribs on there just because after a long day, it'd get really just kind of chase you a little bit. We put about 40-50 miles on the day, and we didn't get too uncomfortable, but towards the end of the day, we were feeling it. So the only thing we'd really change is just the seat cover, to get rid of the ribs and just make it a little more comfortable, less aggressive. We kept the modifications minimal. Really we want durability, but we also want it to work similar to a real off-road bike. We don't want just a tamed down version of a bike that really it's hard to have fun on. So we could really, motor-wise, we could take this bike to the track. Suspension-wise, it'd be a little soft, but yeah, overall the bike is really solid. It's a great platform to begin with. So all these modifications are they're effective and they're cost-friendly. So So stay tuned at dirtbiketest.com. Follow us on social media, YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll have a full written report, we'll have photos, video, all that good stuff. Yeah, just stay tuned. We'll have more on this bike and many other bikes as well.